The thing about being a preacher is that you're really preaching to yourself as much as you're preaching to anyone else. It's easy for pastors to look like they have it all together because they're saying these great and wonderful things, but the truth is we need to process what we're preaching. So today I wanted to share a clip from a sermon I gave actually a couple of years ago and in a different situation, but it felt like exactly what I needed to process today. In this clip, I'm talking about how Jesus encounters us in our pain and our difficult situations and how we should respond to that. So I hope you enjoy this video.
So when I park my car at my apartment, I pull into spot 48, I think. I don't know because I park there all the time. I stop looking for the number. And I pull in and I get out of the car. And as I get out of the car, I pull the keys out of the ignition. I have them in my hand and I go to put them in my pocket. And as I do, I look down and I see right there the sewer grate that is right next to my car on the driver's side. So I get out of the car, and every time, and when I got that spot, I thought to myself, what a horrible, horrible place for that to be, because one day it's going to happen. I'm going to drop the keys down there, and it's going to be terrible. And so last week, pause for dramatic effect, I didn't drop them down, but I dropped them, and I had that horrible moment where I was like, and it really is not like, I could probably get them out, but I'm just too lazy to call my landlord, and that's just a nightmare to me. So I put my foot down and gently picked them up, and I was like, that was close, okay? But just that worry that one day I'm going to drop something into that stupid sewer that's there every time I pull in, because sewers don't move, and I'm going to lose something that's valuable, and then I'm going to go through the pain of having lost something that's valuable, and it's going to be an annoying process of trying to get it back. And so I just want to put in your minds right now that we all fear losing things that are valuable and that we're never going to get them back. Bobblehead, if you're with me. We all fear losing something valuable and not being able to get it back. That horrible feeling of my keys just fell into the sewer. That'd be a horrible feeling. And it's been acknowledged tonight, and I want to acknowledge it because I want to pastor you, and I want to pastor all of us that we're hurting. People here are hurting. I'm hurting. And it's going to be so sad as life continues to move on. And that people are confused. It's been said tonight, people are confused. And you know what? That is so normal for us to fear that and have pain in losing that, because we all fear losing things that we'll never quite be able to get back, whether it's your car keys or a favorite childhood toy or a group of friends or someone we love through a breakup or a broken family or even a death. We all fear losing something valuable that we're not going to be able to get back. And so there are a few people in the Bible who had that same fear. Their names were Mary and Martha, and their brother was super sick. And so they were fearing losing something valuable that they weren't going to be able to get back. So they call out to Jesus. They send him a text message. See, that's me contextualizing. Parents, see what I did there? Text message, students, they're understanding it now. The Bible's becoming clearer. They call out to Jesus. They send a message, or they say, Jesus, come. Lazarus is sick. Jesus is like, oh, Lazarus is sick? Oh, this is not going to end in death. Don't worry about it. I'm going to wait 2 days to go. And by the time Jesus actually goes to where Lazarus is, it's been 2 days, and Lazarus is already dead. So he had the opportunity, but Jesus knows, because he is the one only begotten Son of God, and he's in tune with God. He prays with God, that he knows that ultimately this is not going to end in Lazarus' death. He delays, and when he gets there, Martha runs out to him before he even gets to the city. And she's like, Jesus, if you had been here, if you had done your job, if you had actually done what we wanted you to do, if you had come right away, Lazarus would still be alive, and we wouldn't have lost something valuable that we can't get back. And Jesus is like, no, your brother is going to be resurrected. And she's like, I know, at the end of time, everyone gets resurrected. And there's a judgment before God. And he's like, no, you're missing it. I'm the resurrection and the life. Your brother's going to be resurrected. So she goes, she gets her sister Mary. Mary comes, and she comes to Jesus, and you know what she says? The same exact thing, almost verbatim. She's like, Jesus, if you had actually been here, then Lazarus wouldn't have died. Why did you wait? You took too long to get here. We knew that you could heal him, and you didn't, and now we've lost something that we're not able to get back. And we're hurting a lot. And Jesus asks, well, where is he buried? And they go together, and this is what I don't want you to miss. Jesus, knowing what is about to happen, weeps. He cries like ugly cry, cry like tribute cry, He cries. He really cries. And that's shocking to me, because it doesn't really make sense to me. Why would Jesus cry when he knows what's about to happen? He doesn't. He has so much compassion. He's welled up with the grief of what is happening. He's welled up with grief over seeing human death. He's welled up with grief over seeing things not be perfect. And Jesus doesn't come to Mary and Martha. He doesn't go, it's okay. This is all part of God's plan. Or even worse, he didn't say, stop crying, where's your faith? Which I think is, if Jesus had said that, I suppose in our hearts of not understanding who Jesus is, we might have gone like, okay, yeah. Why are you crying? Stop crying. I'm here to resurrect him. Jesus didn't say that. He just bawls. And so I say all that to say that you're quite like Jesus to feel pain and sadness at losing something. And I want that to sink in for a second. Jesus knows what's going to happen. He knows everything that's coming in the future, all the wonderful things, including Lazarus actually being resurrected in moments, but that doesn't stop him in the moment from his heart breaking with Mary and Martha, where he's crying, weeping, and his soul is heavy. And so I love you all so much. And as I leave with a sense of loss of that intentional community, and I love you guys, and you'll be okay, and I'll be okay. But if you're also feeling that sense of loss, I just want to give you permission to actually feel that. Why? Why? Because God is a God of resurrections, not renovations. What do I mean by that? When Jesus talked about a prostitute who was incredibly sinful, he was like, she understands the beauty of forgiveness because of how dark her life actually was. Because of how sinful she actually was. My forgiveness brings her such an extreme amount of joy. She was so far sinful that the joy is so great. And so I want you to, when it comes to Lazarus, right? Lazarus just wasn't sick. You know, they're like, Jesus, come, he's sick. We know you can heal the sick. Jesus is like, I'm going to wait, not for him to be sick, for him to be dead for 2 days. And then I'm going to come and I'm going to resurrect him back to life. Is that clicking? When it gets really dark, when it gets really hard, when it gets really painful, when you feel like you've lost something that you can't possibly get back, the darker it feels, the harder it gets. It's just going to juxtapose. It's going to show how great God's mercy and love and grace and redemption is on the other side. All right? So you have permission to feel that pain. But our God is not a God of renovations where he just slaps a new coat of paint on it or puts in a new floor. He doesn't just make something a little bit better. He takes something that's completely dead and he actually transforms it back to life. I say that because this is a hard transition. It's a hard end of the year. We said goodbye to Joey and we said goodbye to our grads on Friday, saying goodbye to me, and next week we're thanking our sponsors and saying goodbye to Nick. But when we downplay that loss, when we downplay it, we actually rob God of the glory of how he's going to redeem it. Okay, think about that for a second, because I want to know if you're actually getting it. When we try to whitewash something and take out the pain out of it that's actually there, we rob God of the glory of the redemption he's going to bring later. Bobblehead only if you understand that, if you're getting it. So when it gets hard, it's a special opportunity for God to do something extra special. I say that because hopefully you know the story, right? Then Jesus calls out Lazarus and actually brings him back to life. And why does he do that? So that people can actually know him and know God and know that he is the chosen one of God. Okay? Holding a proper tension between that which hurts and God's redemption is a totally good thing. Because what you can do is that you could say, it's all over, this is too hard, this is too painful, it's too different, everything's going to suck from here on out. And that'd be wrong, because God redeems all things and is in the process of redeeming all of creation to himself. Or you could also say, well, this isn't so bad. This is part of God's will. It's all okay. It's not a problem. God ordained this, and not recognize the pain of it. I'm with you guys, and this is what I've been learning and growing through recently, and I hope that you guys can feel this too, is that pain and that tension of understanding. This hurts. But you know what? God is going to redeem it. God is not a God of just renovations, but resurrections. And so I think that Jesus comes along us in times that are difficult, times that are challenging, and I think he says, cry. Cry, child. And he puts his arm around us, and he goes, I'll cry with you. And I think that's amazing of Jesus, that he would actually cry with us in the pain And then he would go, but watch this. But watch this. And that is my heart, and that is what the Lord has been teaching me. And I think he has that same message for all of us. When there are tears, Jesus doesn't say, stop crying, where's your faith? He cries. And he goes, but watch this.